What is up, everybody? We are live here on PowwowTimes. Just want to welcome everybody to our podcast today. We're on number 3 podcast, so we're just testing this out and making sure that we keep coming in live, just like what we said we would. So welcome everybody. I know I have a lot of people coming online today. Today we got a special guest. Today we got Devon Kicknosway, who's a traditional dancer, and we're gonna get to know a little bit about him. We wanted to bring a bunch of Powwow people onto our channel, kind of start bringing in different people. So hello, Roland from Tatacoop First Nation. Hey, how's it going? We got Lisa coming in from Caribou, Maine. So all kinds of cool stuff happening, man. We got people coming online, and we're joining. What's up, Marmar? You're there in the house, So a lot of people joining on. We have a lot of people live. So Devon, why don't you introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are?
Welcome to everyone in the world of the internet, where everything is true. No matter what you hear or say, it is true because it is on the internet. What's going on, guys? My name is Devon Kicknosway. I am that personality kind of guy that likes to make a lot of different kind of videos. I do a lot of kind of stuff, and it depends strictly on whatever I'm learning. That's what I like to put out there. If I don't know how to do something and I want to do it, I kind of just like put it together and figure out how to do it. And that's the kind of things I do on my social media platform, especially through Facebook and Instagram. And I have a brand new YouTube channel out that is where I'm starting to put that stuff out there to hit a bigger what's the word I'm looking for? Media? No, bigger audience.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to know? Like, do you want to know my shoe size?
They say like on the Powwow Trail, kind of everybody has their story. Everyone is out there dancing and telling their story. You have a really unique style, but like, was there a story before you became a dancer, or have you always danced like as soon as you walked when you were a little kid? Like, how did you get to dancing?
You know what's really crazy? Now, do I want to share this story on your podcast, or do I want to share it on my YouTube channel, which is something I do do?
I think you want to share it here, man.
I only started dancing when I turned 19.
Oh,
nice. I have no family that dances before me. I have no powwow name. I used to sing when I was younger back in the East when I live in Ontario, Canada. But if you really want to know this, hold on, I got to put my quills down. This is getting too spiritual now. I got a bunch of porcupine quills. I'm doing some quill work here, guys. So, all right, here, I'll try and make it as quick as I can.
No. Talk about it.
I don't want to like incriminate anyone here, but I was at a powwow in the East, and this is back when I was kind of a bad person, a bad kid, I guess you'd say. And you just like travel to powwows and do laps like all the other young ones would do. But we ended up going out one night, and of course that happens at powwows, unfortunately. And I didn't know powwows at all. I just went to them, and yet I decided I didn't want to drink. So I became the DD. I was the one driving the quad, everyone to their camps and back and forth and blah, blah, blah. But what happened was one of my buddies ended up drinking that night. And in the morning, when everyone was feeling like garbage and I was totally fine, he's like, man, I just can't do this. I just don't feel good. I can't dance. And I was like, I'll dance. And he was like, what? And then everyone looked at me and they're like, shut up. Really? I said, yeah, sure. Why not? Why wouldn't it be that hard? So he put all his gear on me. He had a dog soldier. He put all the stuff, and everyone sat there and put all their stuff on me. And then they just said 1, 2, 1, 2 each leg, 1, 2, 1, 2. And I had no idea what the heck I was doing. So I put the gear on and went to grand entry, and I had to learn from scratch. I look like an absolute fool. I have a video of it where I'm just literally like, I look like a tiny tot dancing 1, 2, 1, 2. I was counting the whole time, and yet from that, I kind of got like a little bit addicted to it. And I was like, whoa, man, I don't know how to do this. And that's what sparked me to want to learn how to do something new. And that's kind of like the very condensed version of how I started to dance, because some people do have that genealogy where it's like my great-great-grandfather was somebody really important. And yet I'm Devon Kicknosway, and I have none of that. and yet people seem to know who I am because of my, like you said, my crazy dance style and stuff. So, but that's how it started. I mean, can't
So
believe I gave that information away.
so it started from basically just helping out a bro, and he said, "Yo, man, I
From,
can't
from
dance."
a bro being too drunk.
Yeah.
Too drunk. He was like, "Oh no, man, I'm not putting my stuff on." And I was like, "I'll do it." And then sure enough, yeah. But you
So
know what's crazy though? When it came to a sneak up, all right,
uh-huh.
the song started and they were like, "Man, sure." So I was all excited, and the song started. It was a ruffle. I had no clue what the hell to do. Everyone stopped, and I was like pretend to dance, and they're all like in the sidelines going, "No, stop, go down, down." And I was like, so I just like bent down, and like everyone laughed at me the whole time. But I think that's the whole part of like learning something is you got to get laughed at. So
Yeah,
I
for
still I
sure.
still remember. I remember all of you laughing at me.
So you said you were in Ontario, and where are you now, right now in this video?
I'm at my table.
Yeah, like, are you still in Ontario?
No, man. I live in Montana now. I've been in Montana for 6.75 of a year. 7 days, 9 hours, 38 minutes.
So how does a
But
guy dancing in Ontario for his bro kind of end up in living in Montana?
I have the absolute most beautiful wife in the entire world. And I haven't traveled the entire world, but I absolutely knew that when I met her, this was it.
Yeah, right
And
on.
and then it went from dancing in the East, and she actually was like, you know what, you have such a unique style, and people really enjoy how you dance, that she paid for my flight to come out west. And I hooked up with and I met with Elsie Watney. She picked me up at the airport in like Saskatoon, and then she drove me to weekend powwows I've never experienced, and then I just like met everyone brand new, and nobody knew who I was. And they're like, "Who the hell is this guy?" I ended up winning a bunch of like menstrual specials, and people started calling me the specialist because I would only win specials, and yet it was my first time ever in the West. But it's because of her I came out here, and
Uh-huh.
then I, as where my job is, I decided this guy could take my job anywhere, and we started dating, and I was flying here. I'd spend a week here, and then she'd fly to Ontario and spend a week with me or a couple days, and it just got too expensive, like $1,000 a flight. So I was like, you know what? I think it's time to just go.
Might as well just stick around, right?
Yeah. And plus, like with my career, like because I'm a personal trainer, and I have been a personal trainer for close to 10, almost think 10 years now. And anywhere you go in the world, I mean, there's always going to be people that are going to be searching and looking for fitness or some kind of healthy activities or healthy eating. So I decided, you know what, I can pick up and move anywhere.
For
And
sure.
that's exactly what I did. I live here in Rocky Boy, Montana. This is where my wife is from. And we have 3 beautiful children, 2 dogs, a cat, and mice that live outside. But that's where I'm at now, man.
Right on, man. So what besides personal trainer, I feel like you do kind of a lot. You're a personal trainer, you're a dancer, you're a quiller, you're a hunter. Like what do you all got going on? Like what do you do? What keeps you busy? Can you even categorize yourself as I do this?
Can you guys see this? Watch this. Check this. This is so cool. Watch this.
What?
It's like an actual pork boy.
That's how you make quill tufted balls. You know what? I don't limit myself. I think that's the biggest thing is like I like to put out there for people that there's too many people that say I can't do that because nobody taught me, or I can't do these things. And they're the only person that's in their way from accomplishing something new. And since I've been a trainer, and since I've moved out here, I've put it on myself to learn new things. And especially like being an elk hunter, that took so much out of me. Like we don't have elk in Ontario, but to come out here and have to go after elk and with a bow, like I took it up to be a bow hunter, I bought rifles with big scopes. You know, I hunting mule deer out here is different. Whitetail is so much different. And then like porcupines are like predominantly huge out here. Like there's so many porcupines. And then we have like back home we do quill work on birch bark. So I took it up that I had no idea what to do, and I decided I'm going to learn how to do this style of art. So it's kind of like I have an addiction to learning. I have to do something new all the time, man. All the time. It's bad.
But Jonathan Wolf asks, can you play bingo?
No, no, I can't play bingo. I like to do something where either I'm gonna win, and I know I'm gonna win, or use a skill to make money.
Nice.
I think that's something. A bingo, yeah, everyone's gonna hit me up and be like, "You're not a real Indian." But I've never been into bingo or gambling big. I mean, I played poker a couple times, but I got really good at poker.
I'm the same way.
That was bad.
Like,
That was real bad. But
do you at least get beginner's
I
luck?
think I messed this up. I forgot to double string it. See that, Devon? See that? You're messing up, man. You're messing up. No,
How long does like something like that take for you to do quill work? I know like quilling itself is a long process, but you do it kind of like a unique style, things I never seen before on the birch bark. Like you did that purse, right? Like how long did something like that take?
Oh, so this, you guys can see that. Wow, this is a birch bark quilt purse, and this is what I made for my wife, and it's completely done with sweetgrass quills, and then I just press the quills through, and I pull them up. See, she still has her Powwow number on it.
Freaking beautiful.
But you know, I took it upon myself to learn the style because this is how us, like the Ojibwe, the Potawatomi, we have our baskets that are made like this. But I just took it into a contemporary way where I wanted to kind of intertwine how I can do beadwork. And I'm not trying to down anyone, guys, but like I got tired of beadwork because there's so many styles of beadwork you can do, and I decided to learn all of them, and then I had to learn more. So this was the hardest art I've ever had to learn, like to pick up to try and figure out how to do that. Like, and I got a few projects sitting around here, but I mean, this one took me 2 weeks because I really worked on it really hard. But it's our way of art that we do with baskets back home. I just took that, like I said, that contemporary feel, and I'm gonna put it into like wall hanging art. I would get up and go show you if when my wife comes back. I'll show you this piece I have in the room that's already framed. But that's the goal, is to get into the art world and show more people that these old style arts can still be kept alive and still be shown in a contemporary way. Like look at us. We're not old school. We're podcasting and we're videoing. We're
Yeah.
showing each other these things. Like, you know, how old school is it these days, right? What am I trying to look for here? Oh, and like this one here is like, this is my new, I got a new bag happening right now. So this is my new piece.
Oh, that's dope.
And it'll be fully quilled. Like the whole thing will be, this is, you can see like, I have it there. And I got two woodland bags I got to do, and then I got to do all my hair ties and all that fun stuff. But it's literally just like, it's just porcupine quills. It's just thousands upon thousands of quills.
I seen like when you were showing a video on how to catch a porcupine, and you put your foot down on the tail and things like that. Is that how you went and got all those quills that you have there?
For some of them, actually, you can get quills. Like, yeah, you can. Like, there's a lot of techniques people tell you, like, go put a towel on them and, you know, hit them with a piece of styrofoam. There's so many different techniques that I've learned, and I've tried them all. But the most way to utilize the full animal, every part of it, and use it exactly the way you need to is to have a dead animal. I do have a lot of people in Montana, like farmers. Like, this is such a big controversial thing that people talk about when someone says, how do you have so many porcupines? It's because the cattle that roam here in Montana, there's like 3 million cattle. These are a livelihood for the people. And when the young cattle get curious about the porcupines, they'll get hit. And quills go in and they keep going. So the cattle die and the farmers lose out on money to help feed for their families. So they end up killing or getting people to trap these animals. And then they usually just dispose of them. So I found all the farmers in the area and they call me and like, I got a porcupine.
Oh,
And they
nice.
give it to me. So I go and I take it all apart. So I have videos where I'm working on my YouTube channel now, how to take all the hair off for roaches, how to take all the fur off for tufting, and then how to take all the quills, because every piece of the porcupine has different size quills that are used for different styles of quill work throughout the entire country, which is awesome.
So cool, man. Hey, so now that you've been quilling birch bark for a while, like what's one thing you wish you've known when you started out?
Started quilling with birch bark?
Yeah, because now you got better. Was there little tricks and things that you wish you'd known when you first started out, or did you just kind of know what to do to begin with?
No, man, because like anything, like if you can't search on the internet and you can't find like techniques, right? You're gonna be lost. You're gonna have to ask people. And I had a lady that was my mom's neighbor. Her name is Brenda Stevens from Shawniga First Nations in Ontario, Canada, and she oh man, now you're gonna try and get me to tell you the whole origin story of quilling and why I quill. Damn you, man! You're taking advantage of me talking. That's what you're doing.
That's awesome. Though. Keep telling us. They want to know.
Tell you the shortest version possible, because I don't want to like kill all the viewers and be like just yawning away. Try and not make it as sad as possible. But my mom had a barrette. It was a butterfly barrette. She got a long time ago from her neighbor, which was Brenda Stevens, and it was fully quilled. This lady that quills is, if you think my quill work is nice, hers like destroys mine, like no doubt. But short version, my mom got diagnosed with cancer, and when she said, "When I die, what do you want?" and I said, "I don't want anything. I just want that birch bark piece." And she goes, "Okay, it's yours." And when we went to go visit her, we drove all the way across country to go visit her when she had cancer. She said, "Here, take it. It's yours." And when we left, I forgot it. It's like, And then a couple months later, we went back for Christmas, and same thing. I said, "I want that barrette," and I forgot it. Only halfway home, I called her. I said, "I forgot it." She goes, "Oh, well, unfortunately," a couple weeks after that, she passed away. And when I went back to go do the whole, take care of your mom when she passes away, I went to get the barrette, and I couldn't get it. I didn't have it. So then from there, I was like, man, you know what? I've wanted that barrette and it's meant so much. I said, why not just learn? Why not just learn how to do it? Why not just make my own? So that's the goal right here, is to be as good or as close to Brenda Stevens level where I can recreate that exact same barrette in honor of my mom, and just to have it, say like I've done it. And that's what my drive has been, to want to learn how to do this. And Brenda has shown me ways like when to harvest the birch bark, what breed, what style of birch it is, how to cut it. And then she said, all right, well then these are the tools you're going to need. So like, she's like, here, you got to make an awl, right? So it's like a deer antler. This is my first deer. I just cut the horn off of it. And then I ended up making a different one from a different kind of awl. And she said, you just got to do it and make the mistakes and you'll figure it out. And that's what I did. And with that kind of mentoring, she really showed me a lot. And then she gives me huge shout outs when she's like, man, you've picked this up on your own in less than 2 years. You've made some really amazing pieces. So that's kind of like as much as condensed as I can get it, why I actually do this and what my drive is. But
so
techniques, I don't know.
When do you harvest birch bark?
I can't tell you. But you know what? For all of you that are watching now and you are actually interested in learning how to do this kind of art, right? This kind of style. Like here, everyone always says, "Oh, I want to look at this, so cool," right? And like we all know Baby Yoda, and everyone wants to see the back. So that's what the back looks like, right? And most people can't figure it out. Right? They don't really know what's going on, even though I show them the back. But the goal for me is what I'm doing is because I've learned how to do this from harvesting the bark to getting the porcupine to cleaning the porcupine to making the designs to doing it all. I'm gonna make a book. So I'm gonna do a book on the whole process of it all, the stories and the origins of this style of quill work, and then I'm gonna put all my formulas to get all the colors, how much water, how much vinegar, how much dye, how long to put it in there. That way you can copy everything that I do exactly the way that I did it.
Nice.
And I'm going to have all the pictures of all my work in there and every single technique of how to do it from start to finish. That is the entire goal, that I want to have a book, because there is no book on it. There's book on a whole bunch of other kind of quill work and how to do it, but there's none for birch bark. So now that I've told you guys, someone's going to probably do it before me, of course. But yeah, that's what's happening.
So when you do have that book out, where can people find it? Are you gonna have it on your Facebook page and that link or something like that?
I don't know yet. I mean, it's such a big process. Like, I mean, if I were writing like a children's book, I could write it and get it illustrated and whatnot. But man, I gotta like document everything: quills, age of the porcupine. Like, I want everyone to know everything.
The whole process.
The goal is to have a book. I want to be able to go into Barnes and Noble or wait, you're in Canada, right? Chapters? Is it Chapters?
Yeah, Chapters, Indigo.
Go in there and be like, I need a book on native quill work, and then you're gonna take this little. I don't think it's gonna be this big. It'll probably be this big, but you're gonna pull a book and be like, "There's Devon Kicknosway's book. I watched his podcast like a year or two ago, and he actually came through with it." So the goal is to have a book. I mean, if I can get it and do instructional stuff to different communities or do classes, I mean, that'd be fun too. But I mean, it's just a long process, man.
Something I want to ask is, like, when your mom was going through her stuff, we kind of followed along because you were kind of posting it on social media what was going on. And something that I always admired about you is you're like this positive guy. You're smiling. You're always smiling. And like, even after your mom passed away, we know that you were going through some things, but you stayed positive. And I know a lot of our youth kind of go through these mental health problems. How did you go about, dealing with your grief and dealing with that, and just still to stay a positive guy as you are?
I think, well, the difference is it's what I think and what I know. And my mom was such a big influence on that. But, and how I do it is, like I said, I make videos. I do a lot of live videos. I do a lot of different videos. I even have a lot of edited videos now that I got to post on my channel that I'm going to teach about that. And it's not necessarily teaching the right or wrong way to do something. It's just teaching you guys what I did, my experiences. And losing a mother is such a big thing, right? But the big part of it, what I had to do is I grieved while she was alive. I know that's going to sound morbid, but even before she had cancer, I thought of the whole process of losing a loved one so significant to you that even when she was in that stages of cancer, we spoke about death. We talked about it. And she told me specifically, she goes, "You are the only one, Devon, that has ever told me I'm dying." And I thought that was the biggest part, is that there's so many people that don't actually talk about serious, truthful issues, especially mentally, and what affects you spiritually, and for the youth, like, to tell them, you are doing this wrong, but let me show you something that I did that helped me, and maybe they'll help you, rather than saying, "You're doing it wrong, do it right," and then they don't know what to do, right? So it was kind of like that grieving process. And on my Facebook page, I did videos every month telling you how I felt and what grieving meant to me, my sadness and my happiness. But I mean, I stayed positive because, like, I want people to feel positive when they watch my videos or they see me or my family. And
yeah,
it's kind of I don't know, it sounds crazy sometimes, but yeah.
So you were kind of like preparing yourself for, like, knowing you're gonna lose someone eventually, right? It wasn't necessarily your mom, but is that how it is? You're just preparing yourself for that, things like that?
It's because we avoid it. We avoid it so much. We don't want to think about it. We don't ever want to think about losing someone we love or somebody that's so close to us. And then all of a sudden they get in a car accident or they overdose or they go in a, something happens and all of a sudden they're gone and you've never thought about it. So it just all hits you as once like a frozen snowball to the face. You can't see and it hurts and it stings and you don't know what to do and you're pissed off and you're mad and you're angry. And it's like, that's why I try and tell people, like, think about it as much as you don't want to. Set yourself up for what it's going to feel like. What are you going to do physically and how do you think you're going to feel emotionally? I have a weird thought process, but I think that's just because of schooling and psychology and people and all that weird stuff. But
So when you heard the news of Kobe, did that affect you at all? Just was it anything that caught you mentally? Being a father as well.
That's a big thing. Like it's always, you can always find different controversy, right? When people talk about how someone has affected their livelihood, right? Yes, I understand basketball is huge. I've never played it. I don't follow it. But losing a basketball player is losing a basketball player. But to lose a daughter, that's something that I had to think about. And just like I spoke right now, to think about losing my daughter or my daughters or my son, I have to put that into perspective. How would I feel if something like that happens? And right now I can feel it. You can feel it getting choked up. You don't want to think about it. But if you do think about it, it does help in the long run. You want to be semi kind of prepared for something like as tragic as losing a young one. We don't want to lose any more young ones. We're losing enough of them already.
For sure, man. So have a fan question said, how did you feel winning the chicken dance championship at Welpinit this year?
Yeah. Making top 10 is the craziest thing. If anybody has ever been to this powwow in Welpinit, Washington, and if you're a chicken dancer, okay, this special will absolutely test the limit of your endurance as a chicken dancer. Okay, it is like 3 full grand entries. I think we did something like 55 contest songs for like a total of like $7,000 US for the winner and like a huge amount of prizes that people just throw on you. But it really tests you. And I think that's what I loved about it, because as a trainer, I got a ridiculous amount of energy. And I'm sure like you have seen that, like when I'm dancing, I don't get tired in 1 song. I don't get tired in 3 songs. I don't even get tired in 9 songs. And it sounds conceited, but the most I can do back to back is 39 songs back to back, because that's how I've tested my heart and my circulatory system to be able to do that. But to win something like that is like, it's super, I don't know, the feeling of it is something else, because you put so much work into it. And it's such a big title for that area, for what they're trying to do for prairie chicken dancing. And I'll absolutely go back. And I'm going to invite everyone that wants to see that. I mean, you will see some top dancers going to their limit and dancers just getting completely exhausted out. Like last year, I blacked out last year. At the end of it all, I was just like, just getting dark and dark and dark. So it's get creepy, but I mean, bring it. That's all I can say, really. I mean,
here's a question I got is like, I think of you as a traditional dancer. Where did this men's chicken dance come from? Or where have you always done chicken, or like what's up with that?
So what's my addiction? You remember what I told you my addiction is?
Yeah.
Things that you're learning, right?
Learning.
Yeah.
I'll get bored of things if I already get good at them. Right? I got good at beadwork. I learned how to do beadwork. I've done all the different designs. I kind of got bored of it. I had to learn. I went to quill work. Right? Now I'm going to expand as I go forth with that. But same thing, being a traditional dancer, there was only so many moves as a contemporary traditional dancer that I could do. I could get low. I can stay low for a whole song. I can come up. I can go ridiculous amount of songs. And then I decided, you know what, I need a change. So next year, this coming up year, I'm going to go woodland, original style, like from back home. So it's a complete new style, complete new outfit. I'm getting rid of all the contemporary traditional stuff. And then chicken was just, I danced chicken a few times for my wife. She's sitting right there, and she liked it. And I just decided to flow into it. And
Nice.
I went through, and we made all new beadwork and got some new stuff for it. But I don't know. It's just exploring, right? And then I think the easiest category is men's fancy, in my opinion. I think it's the hardest. I've done it. I've won all arounds. I've won men's fancy specials. I don't do it often. I have the energy, endurance. I just get dizzy. I go.
Yeah.
I can't do a front flip, but if you give me like 500,
Yeah.
But that's gonna be the last category I'm gonna do when I get old enough. I'm gonna do fancy.
Nice,
So
man. I was just gonna ask like when those bustles are gonna come on, so that's cool, man.
Well, I have some black and white bustles sitting in the back, so I'm just gonna bust those out for you.
Oh,
someday.
yeah.
You dance?
And everything will be all Teton cloth and everything all over it.
Nice. Wendy had a question about something about dancing there. You want to put that out there, Wind Dancer?
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you
That's
good.
cool. You know, that's pretty legit how you guys have that right there. See, it's like it pops up the question for me.
Oh yeah.
I like that.
Cool,
Not
cool.
too shabby.
Nice grass too, hey?
This is my first time, guys, for doing something like this. I've never done a podcast. I've done live videos of I don't know what to talk about. I do talk a lot, and that's
The people want to know, man. The people want to know who's Devo.
That's my curse, man. That's the curse. And I can just sit here and talk all day about nothing.
Talk about this though. Devon just got some hate mail, and you were talking a little bit about that. You know, what was that all about?
First hate mail. My first hate mail. Well, I've had people. I know as a fact, there's people that don't like me, and that's fine. That's their own doing, right? How they feel about someone is mostly a reflection on themselves. We all know that, right? We take it in such a way that's like, oh man, it just sucks. You are always going to find people that don't like you for something, especially when you're good at something and you put yourself out there, you're going to have a lot. But like I tell people, you can have, like, I can have 100 people that don't like me, but I will have 1,000 people that will, right? And it depends on how you look at it, right? You can dwell on the 100 people, or you can shine with 1,000 people. And that's what I try and tend to. And it still brings me down when someone says something negative, but this person messaged me, and person was a follower of mine, and they were really, motivating, and they would tell me great things. But then she told me that because I don't post a certain specific thing, that I don't help the Native community. And I apologize. I was like, I'm sorry, I don't. But I had to make a video about what my platform is for on social media. And my platform is about learning. It's about putting yourself out of the way so you can explore new things. Put yourself out there. Be addicted to learning, like I mentioned. And like, that's what she did. She kind of said some things, and I was like, man, because I didn't post about missing and murdered Indigenous women. It's not that I don't support it. It's not that I don't care. It's just that it's not what my platform is used for. I want people to learn about what I'm doing and learning new things, getting out of their way. I do have some really amazing things coming up with missing and murdered Indigenous women. Actually, February 6th is the debut that I can't tell anybody anything of it, but if you pay attention to my channel, February 6th is the debut of something big for that. It'll be my first time posting something like that. So stay tuned if you guys are checking out my channel and my YouTube channel as well for what's happening. But hate mail happens, man. It happens. I'm sure you have, like anything, you have haters too.
Oh yeah.
So you always, it's common.
Tell us about February 6th, then. Let's get into that.
February 6th, that's what you need to know. February 6th on my channel, I'm going to be debuting something for missing murdered Indigenous women. It's already set up. It's been in the works for months now, probably about 6 months. I'm doing collaboration pieces with a bunch of different artists and different organizations around Canada and the US. And I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about something new. And like I said, I am someone that likes to test the boundaries of what people put out there. You know, I put different things on my outfit. I dance differently. You know, I really explore your range. And that's what I'm going to do on February 6th. But I just can't tell you any more of that.
Nice. Man, you do a lot. Tell us something that you failed at.
Failed. Wow. Uh, like in school?
Anything, I guess. You know, you've done so many things. You excelled at everything. It seems like you did. Was there anything that you just couldn't do that you tried but you just failed at?
I have a really hard time doing a backflip.
Oh yeah.
It's tough. I've always tried. Like I used to do parkour when I lived in the big cities, so I love climbing and jumping from building to building and staircases and
Really?
and all the fun stuff. But I couldn't. I was just too scared to just do a backflip. I couldn't. I could do a front flip off something, run and do a front tuck, land and roll and do all that, you know, whatever. But I can't do backflips. It kind of freaked me out. What else? What else did I fail at? I don't like to think about failure. Like I know I'm not good at things, but side flips. My son says side flips. What do I fail at? You know, I bet you there's probably a few people that could tell me things that I fail at, and I would, you know, I would listen to them and say, yes, you know, I do fail at that, because there are many things I don't know how to do, and I can admit to not being able to do those things. But
Nice.
what I can do, I will excel at, and I will do my best to teach if I can, you know, how I did it. It's not saying this is the right way, but it's just what I excel at. So failure, oh man, what do I fail at? Kate, it's been 2 years now. I have failed to kill a bull elk with my bow.
There it
I
is.
have got to 18 yards on a bull, but he was so close, I could not draw. I couldn't go in full draw. He was so close, I could smell him. And he turned and he looked at me, and we made eye contact, and it was like a sweet, sweet hunter's love that maybe some of you will understand. But I have not been. And after that, I missed a bull with my rifle. I have not been able to kill a bull yet. But you will see. I'm going to kill a bull. I don't care how big it is. I'm going to get an elk one day. Oh, my God. I'm going to get an elk one day.
Nice.
It is the hardest freaking style of hunting I have ever done. This year, I put 75 miles of walking and hiking in the mountains. It's not easy.
I was just gonna say, like, when you're posting your pictures on social media about hunting, it looks like you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, man. That's where the elk are. I will hike in. I'll drive in as far as I can, and then from there, I will hike where nobody can go. You know, I like to be places where nobody has been. You know, it's such a surreal feeling to just be sitting on the edge of like a cliff, knowing that nobody has been here, and you just hear bulls bugling first light or last light. And it's just like, and then all you gotta do is turn, and you're all your tents and your pack are on your pack, and you just set camp up right there, and you're good to go. But I like to test my body. I mean, I'm young. I'm still really young. I'm like 30.
Oh, nice. 30 and some change.
I think I'm going to be in seniors this year. But I know a lot of those junior guys are going to be like, yes, Devon's not in my category anymore.
Yeah, right on, man.
But I think, yeah, so I'd like to I want to test, like if I see something, I'm gonna test my ability to see if my body can get up there. Oh, someone's knocking. Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, we have some people coming in. Why the bow? Like, I wonder, like, you know, you could do it and everything, but like, how did you get kind of addicted to doing the bow?
It goes entirely with what I'm addicted to, right? I had no idea how to do it. I've seen people do it, and I know that it's like 48 and a half times harder than rifle hunting because you have to get within, 50 yards of a bull or a, right? Or even with deer. Like I've got to 6 yards on deer, but not on the actual buck that I wanted. And I took a shot at a nice buck this year at 55 yards, and it went just as it did. It went right over his butt.
Really?
But I think it's just because it's so primitive. I mean, even though I'm using a compound bow, I mean, just the thought of bow hunting with just you, a bow, and whatever things you need to be able to kill such a big animal or an animal in their habitat so close is that thrill, man. Like you hear one, you even the deer, like to just get in on deer that close is something else compared to shooting them at 300-400 yards. I mean, it's not the same, right?
So you did it kind of strictly for the challenge.
Oh man, absolutely. I mean, if I and I sucked at it. My first year, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was no good. And I'm still no good. As you can tell, I haven't killed one, but I've got close. I've got into them. I know what I'm looking for. And that's the thing about hunting is that you gain the experience over the years, right?
Yeah.
And the people you teach, the more you leave behind, right? It's kind of like, so I recommend to anybody out there, if you really want a challenge, go get yourself a bow. I mean, you can get a triad bow, you can get a recurve, you can get a compound bow. You can spend $200-$400 on a whole set and practice, and see if you can do it. Because, man, once you get that close, it's freaking insane. You should just come with me. Come
yeah, man, for sure.
See if your fancy dance legs can handle some of these hills in Montana compared to. Wait, Alberta looks like this, right?
Where I'm at, it is, yeah. Until you hit up the mountains.
You're like a walker, right? You a power walker, like a.
Yeah, I got to move those hips when I'm going.
My hips are see if you can handle it in the mountains. But that's the thing. Like being a dancer, you can test so much what your legs can do, what your body can do, twists and turns in the obliques, and I know all the muscle structures. So I really test my ability of what my range of motion is.
Yeah.
And take that into hunting. So hunting, powwows are literally just a warm up for hunting.
Okay, nice.
It all depends on your heart rate, what you can do with your heart rate, and just exploring what your body can do and what kind of energies it can actually put out there, in long duration, short duration, that kind of fun things.
So would you say, elk hunting with your bow is like the most challenging thing that you do, or out of all the stuff that you do? Yeah.
Out of all the stuff that I do, the most challenging thing is being a father.
Being a father, definitely. You'll learn a lot, right?
Yeah. Being a dad is and it's not necessarily like the changing the diapers and brushing the teeth and getting them food and that stuff. It's because society and social media put native fathers down so significantly that it feels like there's not very many of us.
Yeah.
And that's what's the bad thing. So that's why I like to, when I make my videos, my kids are in them. My kids are in them. You guys get to see them when they walk, when they come out with me. If we go, if we go hunting, sometimes they come with us. So I think that's the hardest and then it would be quill work mentally. And then it would be bow hunting. Yeah. Bow hunting.
What kind of advice would you give young fathers out there, especially, these Indigenous fathers?
Stay away from the stereotypes. I'm so sick of all the. I mean, hey, can you swear on this podcast?
Yeah, man. Whatever you want to do,
man. I barely swear on my. I don't swear on YouTube, just because of the whole censorship thing and the tiers that you'll be in for what you do. But and I can bleep it out. But stereotypes. I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of constantly seeing people posting about deadbeat dads and child welfare days and native dads and native men that can't do these things, but yet we don't put out there what native men are doing, like the positive outlook, the things that we're doing. How many, the more that I put out there as being a dad and being there for my kids and being with my wife and doing these things, the more people want to down you, saying, oh, he's just showing off, and we shouldn't be doing that garbage. It's that kind of negativity towards fathers and fatherhood and having native children is just
For sure.
guys.
Did you have a role model when it came to a father? Like, how did you have your father in your life? I don't really hear too much of you speaking about your dad and kind of that story, right?
My dad is named Devon Kicknosway. He's from Walpole Island, Ontario. He is, oh my God, I think he's 71, 70. If one of you are watching and you know his age, you guys can link in and tell me. I don't know. Dad, how old are you? He's up there. He's always been old man. He's always been there. But, over living here for 6 years, we don't drift apart. We're just distance, right? And it's him showing me so many things growing up. There are so many things that my father didn't teach me. I'm not saying that he wasn't there, but he was never a hunter. I learned that on my own. He was never a beater. He never did quill work. Those kind of things. He didn't do that. I don't know where I learned how to do that. I just kind of picked it up and went with it. But my dad's awesome. The way he talks, this is how my dad talks. Hold on. Well, back when I was just a young man driving in my 1951 Chevy. He's just so like he's worse than like old elders talking at powwows.
Okay.
The way he talks, and just he's always like that. He's a very spiritual man. He he does help out a lot of people. He's been a social worker for most of his life, so that's where I learned how to pick up a lot of attributes of helping people and always being there for people.
Yeah.
That's how I am, kind of the way I am, like being able to show people things. But
nice. What
dad is dad.
Let me do a shout out to all the people who are watching. If you have any questions for Devon, put them in the comments because I'll ask them as we get going here, because we're gonna do a few more questions here. But I want you guys to ask your questions now, so I could kind of put them out there, and then while we have Devon on, he talked about a lot of things, his quilling, his dance styles, all that stuff. So make sure you guys put it out there. So when we put it, but what I wanted to ask you before we go to any of the questions that we have with their viewers was like, kind of what is your routine for staying healthy? Because you said you are a physical trainer, right? And do you fast? Do you like only eat meat? Are you a vegan? Well, obviously not a vegan. You're a hunter, but what is your secrets, man? To like, what do you do to stay healthy? Are you dancing every day, running? Like, what do you do?
No. To be truthful, to be honest, I'm just the fattest I've ever been. I'm 15% body fat right now, and it's 15.9% body fat. Like, this is the biggest chin I've ever had, but it's pretty bad. But the thing is that it's not a bad thing, because I've been recently, like, I took some time off to be a full-time dad, and I sell my art, and then I hunt and do my things to make my income, especially with YouTube and my sponsorships and things like that. But as for giving advice on how to eat properly, there are so many different levels that I can help you, not only Patrick Mitswing, but you watching, what to do, because it all relates on your lifestyle, your income, your place of residence, the type of ailments you'd have in your life, all these different things and attributes that you created or are in your genealogy or genetics. Those all play a factor on how to live a healthier life, right? If you guys ate how I ate and did what I did, your body might reject it and you're going to get bad results, right? What you eat is going to be so different than what she eats because of, hormone levels, age levels, activity levels, all that fun stuff. So that's what I loved about my job, is that I really got to get, really in tune with my clients, figure out what works for them, try different things, and then figure out, all right, this works better for this client. Staying away from these foods is, trying more dark greens is going to help this kind of thing, and eating less chips, and that is going to help you, because everyone is so different. But
Mhm.
if I were to give any advice right now that I know works, and it's my own little proven thing, is for 7 days. It's just 7 days. Do not put anything white in your mouth. Yeah,
Mm.
you can giggle. I know that's usually what happens, is people giggle about it, but don't put anything white in your mouth, because it's like white bread, white sugar, white flour. There's all the pastries and anything else that's white, milks and creams, and
Mhm.
white kind of chips, and those kind of things. Salt, stay away from that, and you'll see a huge difference in 7 days from not putting white things in your mouth. Yeah.
Nice. That's some good advice, man. Right on. Uh, we have, I don't know if we touched on this, but we got Silas Silverhorn saying, Devin, what made you get into traditional dancing? I don't know if it was the story from your young friend. Was that what got you into it, or was it something more that kind of made you want to stick to it and kind of dance?
What kind of made me like stay with it was like how it hurt my body, right? And I didn't do anything, but yet my body did something foreign and it hurt so much. So I want to figure out, what is it that I can do to get better at it. And then I would practice. I would listen to songs and figure out different steps, and then all those crazy moves that you guys have seen me do with, the countless amount of videos that are on YouTube or on social media or wherever, where you see me doing something weird. I practice those moves, just like how Patrick does all his flips in the gym. We're all following him do that. I've practiced these moves, and then I put them in play when I'm like hiking or running or training, and I train specifically for those moves. So now that I have new dance styles, I try and keep it going. But I got into traditional because it was hard, and then to me it got easy, and now I'm doing a new styles, which are going to be hard because they're going to be brand new to my body.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like.
Were there any other traditional dancers you really looked up to and be like, man, I really like that guy's style? Kind of like
Controversy. Controversy. This is where it starts. Okay, controversy. We were talking about this too. Yes, 100%. There are YouTube. When I lived in the East, we didn't get very many big name dancers. We had our own little powwows, and we did our own thing, and we were kind of behind in the times. When something new happened in the West, it took a while for it to hit the East, and songs, styles, da 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 da. Now I would watch YouTube and see these dancers and be like, oh my God, that's so and so, and oh my God, that's so and so, and I started to idolize their movements and who they were, and what and all that. How did you do that? Like, how are you the best? I want to figure it out, and not knowing very much about powwows and the whole politics of powwows. Everyone knows about that. I met my idols. And I was like, I can't believe I danced with my idols. It was absolutely amazing. And I apologize for any young ones here that are watching. You're going to meet your idol and you're going to think this, but this is the truth. I met my idol. Actually, I had 3 of them. I met them. I danced with them. I was so excited. I placed with them. I was excited again. I beat them, not once, not twice, 3 times, dozen times. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened.
Mhm.
But then I learned about their real life, and I realized what they do for the community and what they don't do to the community, what they do to their partners, what they have done to their children. And that's something that you don't want to hear about.
Mhm.
And that's where my idolization towards them faded.
Yeah.
And then what happened is I realized that people's lives are all different. People's circumstances are so different. And yet our youth and our kids need to stop seeing the garbage at powwows, not physically the garbage that you naturally see everywhere, but how some dancers treat their spouses or treat their kids or treat their communities, or with drug alcohol abuse or rape culture and all these different things that are predominant at powwows that not a lot of people are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that in my idols, and I lost that. And then they became examples of how I don't want to treat other people.
Yeah.
And yet that's just something that became, part of my life. Like, yes, I did have idols. Do I have idols anymore? They're not in the powwow world, but I do have idols.
All right.
Absolutely.
So, based on that, top 3 traditional dancers, excluding you, based on their dance style and what they do for the community and who they are as the person character that that are out there. Top 3, top 5.
Oh, yo, that's like, no, I don't know about that one. I'm gonna get haters. I'm gonna get haters. You ever watch Fallon, and he has that show? You have to eat the bugs or eat the slime or eat the goo if you don't answer the question. Yeah. I'll eat the birch bark.
You're gonna eat the birch bark for that.
I ain't gonna answer that question. It's there are people that. How about this?
Let's not go.
No, here, I can answer that. But
Okay.
if you see me, if you're watching, answer that question. If you see me at a powwow, and I invite you into my canopy, to where my family is, and my babies crawl, and my kids are, and my dogs are, and we sit. If I invite you in there, I respect you.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't invite you in there, I will leave my canopy to stand on the outside of it and be in between you and my family. So that's where, if you're walking around and you see my camp and you see other traditional dancers underneath my canopy sitting with me, those are people that I respect. Those are people that I can, look up to in different factors in different ways. So that's the easiest way I can answer it, because I don't want to call out any names specifically.
For sure, man. Okay, let's go outside of the powwow world. You must have people that you really look up to. Who are those influences? Do they have books? Do they have where other people could follow them as well?
It's so big. It's like I don't have like, oh, I want to be like that. That person. Everything they have. Like, I can give an example. Like I like watching Will Smith.
Yeah.
I like watching because I love the words he uses and how he enunciates his words, his directness to how he talks to the camera, and how he just makes you feel when you talk, right? I've learned to pick that up. That's why you see me. I'm very expressive when I talk. I can't stand people that sit there like this and they're like, oh yeah, it was really amazing. Just tell me everything there is to know about it.
Yeah.
But that's something, like one thing. Like a YouTuber, Peter McKinnon, he's a photographer and film guy. I just like his quirkiness, how he just likes to be excited about things, and how how he wants to help out, like that kind of thing. When it comes to like coyote hunters, there's certain ones that I really enjoy watching. Then there's like elk hunters, like different bow hunters. Like I watch Hushin for bow hunting, because it's a bunch of young guys that are just exploring, and they're like, they don't know really what they're doing, and they're just doing it, and they're not really saying this is the way like a lot of hunters do.
Yeah.
They just say, this is how we do it, and they show how they fail, and they show how they are successful, and you can really see the passion they put into these videos. And that's what I really, there's no specific, yes, go and watch them, because I love everything about them. There's a whole bunch. So if you kind of follow me on social media, you'll see that I'll link different places and different things, especially on my YouTube channel. You'll see that.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go into that, man. How can people find you online? What is your YouTube name? All that stuff there.
See my name right there. If you see it, pop the name up right there. It's the same thing. I want to make it as basic as possible. I had to try and come up with so many different ideas
Yeah.
I'd be like, what kind of name do I want? You know, do I want a cool name? Do I want something, you know? But really, in the end, when I die, I want someone to actually remember my name.
Oh,
You
nice.
know, I want someone to go, hey, I watched Devon. I want, you know what the long-term goal is for people to actually say my last name right. That's what it is.
Can you say it for us?
Yeah, yeah. No. I don't even say it right. I don't even say it right. But it's Devon Kicknosway. But like I said, people that do get familiar with it, they know that that's where my social media, my Facebook name is at. My Instagram is Devo222. Nickname is Devo, as you guys can see on the screen. And my YouTube is Devon Kicknosway, where it follows along with my family's ventures. You know, the new things I'm learning with bow hunting, and you know, I'll be putting fishing stuff up there, and I got Halloween, Christmas, I mean, skating, doing new things, failing, like you said,
Yeah.
failing at things, and then getting better at them, right? So you guys can hit all those social medias.
Hey guys, we just had Jackson the Hookah in the house, you know, California native, came and said hi to everybody real quick while we had Devon on the line. Anything you want to say to Devon, Jackson? Oh, you can. Yeah.
Can't hear you, Jackson.
Oh,
Can't hear
I
you.
think he turned off the mic, but that's fine. He's saying much love to everybody, and he wants to show love to everyone there.
Yeah.
All right, Devon, you know, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for taking
This-
some time out of your day and coming up.
Wait, before you leave.
Yeah.
Before we go. I'd like to introduce you guys to Emberly Janice Kicknosway. This is my youngest daughter right here. She's super cute. She has some teeth. She just learned how to walk. But the crazy thing about it, if you were paying attention from the beginning of the video to now, and you know that my mom passed away from cancer on January 15th, she was born 1 year later on the exact same day my mom passed away.
Oh,
So
really?
that's why she has my mom's first name as her middle name.
Yeah.
Okay, get out of here, right?
So everybody, you know, stay tuned for, what is it, February 6th, right? For something
February 6th,
that
yep.
February 6th, Devo, you know, search his name, Devon Kicknosway, on social media. Kind of follow him on Facebook. I think you have like 6,000 followers on your Facebook, something like that, right? Something crazy.
Just click follow and see first, and you'll see all the new things. I do a lot of auctions. I mean, I do sell my work. I sell my artwork here when I get a chance. I do a lot of live auctions. I have sponsorships. Like, shout out to Teton Trade Cloth right here. They're one of my sponsors where you guys can get discounts from ordering from them. I had some other things. My other sponsor is Dancing Bear Indian Trader from California. So they help me out. I help them out. And you guys, I give away a lot of stuff. A lot of freebie things to give away. Ship things for free anywhere that they are in the world. And that's what I do. I have fun with it.
And I really like when you give away those big boxes of quills. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The ones I spend like 9 hours quilling and then
yeah.
that kind of fun stuff. Like this kind of big box of quills, like
yeah, something like that. Look at that. That's crazy.
big boxes of quills.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right.
I could if you want me to, but
that's
so
awesome.
how about this? Here, go right here, right now. For anyone that's watching at this moment, if you go to my Facebook page, okay, click like, click follow, click see first, all that fun stuff, and send me an inbox. The first person to send me an inbox saying I watched the podcast of PowwowTimes.com, you're gonna win a brand new free Teton Trade Cloth hat, and I'll send it to you. Okay, first person to inbox me is going to win a new hat. Oh, that's what it is.
There you go.
Social media.
Inbox Devo. Get yourself a free hat. Search him up on Facebook. Follow him. Send him a message. First one to do it gets a free hat. That's awesome, Devo. All right, we're going to sign off from every year. We had a lot of people on tonight. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. We had people all the way from Germany, Russia, Korea. We had all kinds of people on tonight, so it was really cool from people all over the world tuning in and getting to know my man here, Devo. So right on, man.
All right, guys. And like I always say to finish everything off, make good choices.
Yeah, make good choices. Right on, brother.